It's now Monday. I don't feel well. When did I last film? Was it Friday or Saturday? I don't think I filmed Sunday. Well, I know I definitely didn't film Sunday. I don't even remember if I filmed Saturday. I did wash my hair Saturday. It's looking like it needs washing. I don't know if that's just me imagining it. I don't know. I've not brushed it yet. I've blown my nose a lot. Do you know what, yesterday? My dad went to Lidl. Well, he took his friends shopping because apparently he's the personal taxi service. And I knew he was going to Lidl because he's like, I'm taking such and such shopping. I was like, can you get me broccoli and 2 boxes of tissues? And he's like, yeah. And I texted to him as well because he'll probably either forget both things or he'll remember one and either just bring one and say they didn't have the other one, or he would bring a random item and say, oh, I thought you said this. And then also in my text, I told him exactly where the tissues are, because if I don't describe where the tissues are, he'll also tell me they didn't have any tissues in because he doesn't even try and look. So anyway, he came back hours and hours later. Luckily, I wasn't close. Well, I was close to running out, but I didn't run out of tissues. And I knew he'd be hours anyway. It just saved me from having to work myself up to go into the shop yesterday. Anyway, comes home. The biggest broccoli I've ever seen in my life, and I didn't want a giant one, but whatever, I will eat the rest because I actually needed it for a recipe that I'm making for him, because I'm making him this, I think it's broccoli, bacon and cheddar soup, or bacon, broccoli and cheddar, or whatever order that it comes in, I don't know. And it's only 2 servings, and you can have it for 2 lunches. I was planning on making it yesterday, but obviously I forgot the broccoli on Friday, and I'd not personally been to the shop since because I'm finding it hard to do a lot of stuff. Anyway, so he comes home with just 1 box of tissues, and I'm like, I asked for 2. They only had 1 box. I'm like, there's no way they only had 1 box of tissues in the whole shop. Oh, it was really busy. And I'm like, they have absolute tons of tissues. I said, I've never been in a shop that's packed and there's been not 1 single box of tissues, regardless of what the shop is. And he's like, no, there was definitely only 1 box. There wasn't just 1 box. Because firstly, these tissues are in there's always loads of them, like loads, and they're mixed in with boxes of like brown boxes. I don't know if the brown boxes are either just normal tissues or the ones with, shea butter on, but there's always tons and tons of them. There's like layers of them. Also, there's boxes of normal tissues, and then there's other like boxes of tissues as well, and then there's the square boxes of tissues, and then there's the multi-packs of like packets of tissues. Yet he's claiming that in the entire shop that normally has countless boxes and countless packets of tissues, there was only 1 single box of tissues. I'll leave that up to you to work out if you think he's telling the truth or not. Sorry, I'm blowing my nose and I'm not editing videos, so I can't stop blowing my nose this morning. I've had a Sudafed. I don't know when that was. Maybe 45 minutes-ish ago. I don't know. Sometimes it takes an hour to an hour and a half to fully kick in. It doesn't always help, but it sometimes helps a little bit, so we'll see if it helps me. But basically, I was meant to ring the doctors this morning. I'd worked myself up to it, and then last night I talked myself out of it because it involves leaving the house and going a certain way, and I'm potentially someone may drive past me that's having an effect on me, and I have no option other than to go on particular roads to go to the doctors, and I'm absolutely scared to death of seeing someone, and it's really impacting me. So because of that, I talked myself out of going to the doctors, and I was still awake after 4 a.m, and I'm like, oh my God, and I'm getting stressed out. So I was like, I'm not going to ring because like, I'm still awake, it's 4, whatever in the morning. What as if I'm still awake at 6 in the morning? I don't want to wake up in a couple of hours and have to ring the doctors, because what as if they say, oh, you can have an appointment in 45 minutes? Like, on that lack of sleep wouldn't be good, and I'm struggling to, like, get out and about because of someone. So I was like, you're just gonna have to try again for Tuesday morning. But I'm already talking myself out of it, and I need to go, because this, whatever the hell I've got, is not bloody going away. Like, some of the worst parts have gone away, like, but a lot of it is just clinging on, and it's like over 3 weeks, and I've got weird chest pains, and like my chest's hurting now, but when I make certain movements it hurts even more. I've got pains down my sides, going into my back and across my back. My legs are constantly aching for absolutely no reason. I'm getting weird aches and pains all over. I'm absolutely exhausted, but then again, it doesn't help that I'm unable to go to sleep for various reasons. So that's that. But oh god, I've only got half a box of tissues left. Anyway, I come down this morning and the dog was outside because my dad had left the door open because she's been using the house as a toilet, and I got puppy pads down, and I think it's partly to do with the fact that she does have separation anxiety, and I have been spending a lot of time in my bedroom because of how I feel, not just illness wise. I was doing it before I got ill, even though I was a little bit under the weather anyway, because I withdraw to my bedroom when I'm struggling with how I'm feeling and stuff. And I think partly she was doing it because I wasn't downstairs as much. So I'm being forced to have the door open a lot. Like, it's open now and it's quite chilly in here. I'm warmer than I was. But I'm scared if I go upstairs even for 10 minutes, she's going to do something. So I've been leaving it open, but I don't want it open. And there was a couple of times yesterday when she was shutting the house because it was raining, and I'd gone upstairs and I didn't want the house to get wet because the rain was like really heavy. But I'm like constantly like coming downstairs in the night, especially, to either get her to go out or just check nothing's happened. I don't know if she had a dodgy tummy for a few days as well last week, because on a couple of the walks she did have like proper full-on diarrhea. God, I'm tired. But yesterday I was really crappy all day, like feeling crappy. And I was really tired, but I was like, don't go to sleep, because if you go to sleep, you'll find it even harder than normal to get to sleep, because I'm struggling to go to sleep because I don't want to go to sleep because of nightmares. So I didn't allow myself to go back to sleep, also in hopes that I would get a little bit more sleep, because I was hoping to go to the doctor's this morning. Anyway, it was raining on and off, and I was like, I don't want to go on the dog walk when it's raining, because I don't really want to get my hair wet, because then I'll have to wash it. Because if it gets wet in the rain, the root, when it dries, the roots look like they've absolutely greased it and the ends go super frizzy. There's people who go out in the rain, get the hair wet, and it dries and it looks great. Why can't I be one of those people? So then about 2 hours before I was going to go out, I decided that I was going to cook the cottage pie that I'd not managed to cook for the last 2 weeks. But I was going to make half the version because I only got the 250 gram pack of mince, so that would have been enough for yesterday and today. And I didn't start cooking it until about an hour and a half before, and it takes about an hour and something to do, because you put it in the oven for an hour, although I only put it in for just over 20 because I did half the amount, but the rest of the stuff needed as long as it said. So I did it, and like, once I got it all done and it was all cooking in the pan, because you cook it in the pan before you do it in the oven, and I had the potatoes cooking, I then went and did my, cleansed my skin, and then I went and did my skincare, then I emptied the washer, and then I put more stuff in the washer, just my bedding, I took out towels, put some in the dryer, some on the radiators, then I just put sheet and pillowcases in the washer, put them on. I managed to have a quick wash and get dressed just before the timer went off for my food that was ready. That's when my dad came home with his gigantic broccoli and 1 box of tissues. And that was about 10 to 8-ish. And I'd planned to go out about 10 past 8. but it said it was going to rain at 8, or it said 35% chance of rain. Now, sometimes it says 35% chance of rain and it doesn't rain at all, but there's times where it says like 35% of chance of rain and it absolutely pours it down, so I didn't know which way it was going to go. But it said like it weren't going to rain at 9 o'clock, so I was like, right, if it rains at 8, hopefully it won't rain at 9, because you know weather changes all the time. It could say like 8:30, it could say 70% chance of rain at 9 o'clock. You never know. So, I sat and ate as much as I could. It was that was the only real meal I had yesterday. I hadn't really eaten up until that point. And then when I've been walking the dog recently, because I've only been going out in the evening, and especially because I've been ill, I've not been putting makeup on, because it's always been dark when I've been going out recently. But what I have been doing is, I shouldn't have done that. I've just done that and it started stinging. Why have I not learnt my lesson from yesterday? Because obviously the inside of my nose and outside of my nose is red raw, because I've blown it about 5 million times. Oh God. Oh, this is even my new one. I've got a Vicks one. Where's my Vicks one? Where did I find this? I was actually looking for this. You know, when I got sick, I was looking for this because I knew I had the cheap ones. But then I got a Vicks one. Well, my dad picked it up for me, look. So where have I put the Vicks one? So was that in my bag the whole time? Well, where's the Vicks? Oh God, I don't even know where the Vicks one is then. Because that's not in the bag. Oh God. Oh, it's stinking like hell. It also makes me sneeze. I hope it don't start making me sneeze, because yesterday I did it. Not only did the inside and my outside of my nose feel like it was on fire, I then couldn't stop sneezing. Oh God, it's getting more irritating. I don't know why I did it. It's because I wanted to unpop my nose, and I forgot how red raw my nose is. Anyway, so I've been putting mascara on, and my brows with a product that's too dark, but it's the only one that will go on top of a lot of skincare, because obviously I'm not putting other makeup on. If I was putting makeup on, I'd be able to use my normal one, because I'd be able to put something on before, like put powder on before I do my brows. So I've been putting on this one that's too dark, but it's the only one that will go on a heavily moisturised face, basically. Oh God, my nose. Stinging like mad, especially around my nose, like the entrance to my nose. Oh my God. I hope it don't like get any worse. It's burning. Well, it's stinging. And even my eyes are like starting to water. So, because the back door was shut, because it was now dark outside, because it's about 8:15, I was like, can you keep an eye on the dog for 10 minutes? The back door's shut and I don't want her to do something in the house because I've gone upstairs. Because she has a habit of, like, she's been doing it. The other, was it one night last week I'd gone upstairs just to put my trainers on, come back down and she'd pooed. Partially on the pad, partially on the floor. And my dad, who was literally a couple of feet away from her, must have known she'd done it, but he had ignored it. So I was very wary that me going upstairs to put mascara on, brow products, socks and shoes on, I was worried that she was going to do something. Anyway, he was cooking his food. So I knew when he had his food, she would go and sit with him. So I said, just keep an eye on her. I don't want to come down and find a massive poo. But I was upstairs a lot longer because I was trying to push myself to go out. Because even though like I'd gotten ready and everything whilst I was cooking, I didn't really want to go out for various reasons. Anyway, come back downstairs and I went out at 9:15 and came back. And you know what, that walk was hard at times. Not only because she's a husky. If you've ever walked a husky or know things about huskies, you know exactly what I'm saying. Oh God, I just got dizzy looking behind me because I heard something. And I didn't turn back. What was that? So, yeah, at times, well, sometimes, a lot of the time, she's a nightmare. Because, right, we're walking along this street thing, and there's not many lights on it. There's only a few houses. And it's quite dark, especially at night, and there's like a wooded area and stuff. Well, there's several wooded areas along there. And there's been a couple of nights this week when I've been on there, and one of the street lights has been flashing like mad, and I'm thinking, that would drive me mad if I lived there. Anyway, last night the lights were off except for one, and then it was just total darkness. And you could see a little bit, but you couldn't see the ground. And it's a bit uneven. So she's dragging me, and I'm walking along, like, trying to be extra careful because I don't want to, like, be pulled over or trip over. And all of a sudden, she comes flying backwards because she must have realised that she might have smelt something 16 seconds earlier. As she does that, I trip. I don't go flying, but as I'm tripping, I'm trying to get hold of the lead because she's on the waist lead, and I'm obviously don't have hold of it. And I'm trying to move her back forwards because I need to keep going forwards because I can't physically stop because I'm tripping. It was a bloody nightmare. It would help if I could have seen the ground, but I couldn't see the ground. Anyway, there was another point where she was pulling me along and I couldn't see the bloody ground again because it was like really, really dark. Sometimes she drags me for no reason. Anyway, I come home and I'm really pouring in sweat, like it's my back's wet, armpits are wet, and I come in and she wants a treat, and then I went and stood outside by the back door for 5 minutes because the heating wasn't even on in the house. I was just too hot in the house, and I stood outside for 5 minutes, and I thought, oh, that might be enough because I'm just stood there. And I come in and I sat here, and my back was just pouring in sweat. Literally pouring in sweat. And I felt like crap for ages, and I just sat here, and I eventually did get a drink, and then I had a quick upper body wash because I was just pouring in sweat. And I came in here with my drink and I sat down, and even before I got home, my dad not only had his TV on very loud, he had his phone on as loud as he could, and he's doing his typical annoying scrolling where he's just constantly scrolling. I think he's on YouTube Shorts or something, and he'll watch something for 1 second, then the next thing for maybe 12, and then something for 2, and he's just scrolling, and it is so loud, and I'm literally sat here, and it's stressing me out because it's all I can hear, and I'm trying to look at my phone, but I can't, like, concentrate or even take anything in because it's just scroll, and it's full volume. And I'm like, oh my God, is he going to get bored soon because he's got the TV on, he's got that on, and all I hear is like going from one thing to another, and I'm like, even I'm not bloody like that. Like, yeah, I'll click on things and I might be like, oh God, this isn't for me, but I'm not going one thing, and he's just doing it constantly. I'm like, oh my God. And I can't shut the doors because if I shut the doors, I'll guarantee the dog won't want to go out the room, and then I'll shut it and she'll want to come straight back in, or she'll want to go in his room, and it's just a bloody nightmare. And he used to do this at the last house, but he was upper floor, and even though he was upper floor, it was still loud, but it wasn't as loud as being in the next room. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't even concentrate on anything. I'm trying to look at stuff, I can't concentrate, I can't do anything, and I'm like, oh my God, like, it's driving me mad. And I'm sat here and he's just scrolling, and I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong with this bloke? This isn't even normal. Like, I've never known anyone to just constantly obsessively scroll and just watch things for a couple of seconds. Like, surely if you can't find something you want to look at, why don't you just search for something that interests you and try and find something to watch instead of scrolling? Because at one point, it got something up, the top 10 smelliest celebrities. And when it was like 10, 9, and 8 was Kesha. And he's like, what the fuck is Kesha? That's what he literally said. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to answer. If you don't know who Kesha is, you shouldn't even be looking at the top 10 smelly celebrities. And why have you been watching that anyway? And who knows of the top 10 smelly celebrities? Like, have they met every celebrity and done like a poll? Like, but then it's just like stupid things with stupid, like, do you know, like, there's ones with stupid laughing on and stuff, and it's just like, oh my God, just pick something. And I'm getting more and more stressed out. And after 45 minutes, I was like, I can't deal with this. Got another drink and went upstairs. Now, I couldn't, like, lounge properly on my bed or anything because I was meant to put my sheet in the dryer. My pillowcase is on the radiator because the dryer keeps melting pillowcases. I keep having to get new ones, but sometimes it melts the sheet as well. Anyway, I was meant to put the sheet in the dryer as soon as I got home, but because I was, like, too hot and I went outside and then I came in and he's giving it all that on with his stupid whatever he's watching, I totally forgot. So it didn't go in the dryer until, like, I was just about to go upstairs. And I knew I'd be back down several times anyway, not only to check on the dog, but get another drink and, like, take medication before bed, like flu capsules and stuff. So it drove me upstairs again. Now, last night, because I have been struggling being downstairs because of how I feel, last night I'd actually planned on staying down here for a while because I've been upstairs a lot of the day. I'd spent more time downstairs yesterday than I have done recently, but I had planned on staying downstairs, but I just could not cope with him, and he's constantly scrolling, and the volume of it. Now, no matter how I go, if I went in and I was like, would it be possible if you could just turn it down a little bit, he would have a go at me. No matter how I worded it, no matter how polite I am, he would have a go at me. He would say that it's not loud. He would say, I'm just saying it, and it's not that loud, or I'm just, like, there's nothing wrong with the volume, there's something wrong with me. Like, he'll say there's something wrong with me, he'll make it my issue, and he just will snap at me, and the chances are he won't turn it down. He'll just have a go, he'll turn it round on me, he'll accuse me of being the problem, so it's not worth it. Even when I've shut the doors, it's still extremely loud, and, like, most nights he drives me upstairs much quicker than I would be going up there. And last night it was like, yet again, I've been driven upstairs because I can't cope with his continuous obsessive scrolling, because he's just got things on that he has no interest in. Instead of searching for something, he's just going through shorts on YouTube. And some of the things I've heard, I've watched myself, not on YouTube, but on other platforms. And, like, even when something comes up that I'm bored with, like, I don't just go 1 second next, 1 second next, 1 second next. Like, I find something to watch. And it's just hours and hours of it. So I went upstairs, and I'm not joking. He was doing that obsessively for over 3 hours, because I could even hear it upstairs. Not as much because I had my fan on. I was scrolling on my phone a little bit. I was watching bits and pieces, although I couldn't fully concentrate. And I could still hear him downstairs at the front of the house, obsessively scrolling. And I did come down a few times for drinks and, like, to check on my bedding, and eventually took it upstairs and put it on the bed. But honest to God, he drove me upstairs. Like, literally drove me up there again. Drove me up there the night before. So there's nights where I wanted to stay downstairs longer when I just can't, because of he's got his TV on as loud as it'll go, and then he's got his phone on as loud as it'll go, and he's just scroll. And no matter what I could say to him, it would be my issue. He would have a go at me, and I'm just not in the mood or in the headspace for him to snap at me. If he's bored, he should do something, not just scroll, because he doesn't watch 90% of the stuff he's scrolling past. Like, he has no interest in it. Anyway, what time is it? So, come down this morning, and it was later than planned, but actually my alarm woke me up. It scared me to death, and I was like, oh God, I'm going to go back to sleep. But I desperately needed a wee, because I'd actually needed a wee hours and hours earlier, and somehow I'd gotten back to sleep. Don't know how, but I think it was because I was so tired, I was able to go back to sleep. So when it went off, I was like, I'm going to have to get up because I really, really need a wee. I timed it, by the way. It was 1 minute and 53 seconds. So, and, like, it's normal speed at first and then it slows down, but today it didn't slow down much. I was surprised at the speed of it all the way to the end. It's the only one night time, by the way, because the morning ones have been extremely long. And I don't know if that's normal. because I last went to the toilet at 3:50 or something. So, and I'd not had a drink in between before that, much before that, like 3 hours before that. So maybe midnight, yeah, I managed to do a wee that big or long. I'm trying to drink that, by the way. Anyway, so I come down and I go in the bathroom to blow my nose. Like, I had my tissues and everything in my hand. I just thought I might as well go in the toilet and blow my nose so I could just put the tissues down the toilet. And after I blew my nose, I got lightheaded, so I'm stood there, and the dog come running in the house and ran up to the bathroom door, which was open, but because I was stood to one side, she couldn't see me. So then all of a sudden I went hello and said her name, and it was like I couldn't see her, but it was like she went to dive off and then realised it was me. So I looked at her and she gave me this look like, how dare you do that to me? Anyway, I gave her dental chew, and then she came back in after she ate it and I gave her a carrot. She loves carrots, this dog. And I'm stood in the kitchen and I don't know what came over me, and I don't know if this is going to happen with how long I've spent already chatting, but I was like, and this really surprised me because I've not managed to do this since maybe early July, early to mid-July, I would say. I was like, I might take the dog for a walk this afternoon. And then I was like, what? Like, even as I thought it, I was like, what? Because I have been struggling to go out when it's light because of my ex. Not going to sugarcoat it or hide it anymore, because like, it's not healthy for me not to talk about stuff, but I'm not going to go into ins and outs of it, especially right now. And then I'm like, are you sure you're going to like in my head I was thinking, I work like conversation with myself out loud. I was like, are you really going to like go out? And I'm like, yeah, I'd just go out at 2 o'clock for half an hour. Now, whether or not this dog would let me go for just half an hour is another story. And I'm like trying to think of what would be a half an hour route. And I think I know what would be an half an hour route. But, oh God. And then I'm stood there and I'm thinking I need to go to the shop. Because I planned to walk the dog at 2 till past. Before it starts to get busy, you know, with like parents going to pick children up and stuff. So I thought half an hour would be good, and it's a big thing for me to go out during the day on a dog walk round here, I'll be perfectly honest, because SEDEX keeps driving up and down here, and no matter which way I go, I'm obviously going to be on the area, street, road, lane, avenue, close, etc., that I live on, no matter which way I go. Even though I can get off it at some point, I'm going to have to come back on it at some point. So there is a chance they're going to drive past me. And I'm absolutely scared to death that that's going to happen. Because even seeing them from a distance is having a massive impact on me. And even the thought of it is having an impact. But I've been unable to go out. And I'm thinking, should I just go with this? Because I've fought it. Because it's been the first time I've fought it. I don't know if I feel physically up to it, but I was like, should I just go with it? Because obviously it's come into my head for a reason, when otherwise it's not been coming into my head. And then I thought, well, I need to go to the shop, and I don't want to go to the shop after I come back. Even if I get back at 2:30, I'm probably going to get caught in school traffic, which I don't want to do, unless I went to Lidl. And I was like, should I go to Lidl? But what I need some coffee pods for a start off, which Lidl don't do. I need tissues, and Lidl seems to do the better tissues, but I would just have to get the branded ones because the Asda ones are really bad. But then I'm like, Asda will take me longer than Lidl. I should go to the shop before I go to try and go on the walk, because I honestly don't know if it's going to happen. I'm trying to not think about it, but I know the reasons why I'm scared to go out in daylight. Even just going to the shop, I could pass them. More chances of passing them going to Lidl than Asda, although they do use the roads that I use to go to Asda, so I am stressed out. But if I go to Asda, I need to go 10 minutes before I would have gone to Lidl, which means if I don't get moving soon, there's no chance of both shop and walk. And I know I'd happily give up doing the walk because of how I feel about going on them. But I surprised myself when that came in my head. Maybe I was half asleep, I don't know. But I'm trying to not think about it, but talking about it, I'm starting to feel a bit panicked about it. Like I can feel my heart rate getting faster and I feel a bit shaky. Because I'm absolutely scared to death of seeing this person. God, I feel a bit sick. I can just feel my heart racing now. I might have found this easier if I hadn't talked about it, but I was so shocked at the thought process, because it has been since July that I've not gone out in the daytime on a dog walk. And I'm ill anyway, and I'm struggling with the 1 walk a day. But I feel like if I did go on the walk at like 2 till past, I'm potentially not going to go out until at least 8 o'clock. So that gives me time to recover, hopefully. But I know I do need to go to the doctors as well at some point. But I do need to go to the shop because I do need coffee pods. I also need the strong ibuprofen, which they don't do in Lidl. And I need another box of these. I'm going to blow my nose again. But I am going to go because my dad's just walked in. Subscribe, like, have a great day.